Hey there, YouTube hunters. Brad Goodspeed here. Quietly in the background, you may hear the musical stylings of my son, the other Mr. Goodspeed. Go ahead. He's playing it very quietly so I can do this video. So, this is the mask I showed you guys a video of last night that I was working on. I think when I made that video, my other two cohorts were nearly passed out and we may have been under the influence of certain beverages, but anyways, the sculpt, I had only had time for the top half of it, and I'm just working on the bottom half now. That's not detailed at all, but this is the mask. I think as I mentioned, I was thinking of putting one of these masks underneath this one. I think I'm losing steam with that idea a little bit, just because so little of the face is going to be shown. You can see the under sculpt there and there. I don't know if there's really a point to it, but I may still play around with the idea. But otherwise, I'm fairly happy with the progress of the mask. And this is supposed to be a mask. Sometimes when you're making masks, you have to kind of decide whether you're making a face, like a monster's face or something, or if you're making, something that's actually supposed to be a mask that the bad guy's wearing. And that's what this is supposed to be. I'm going to paint it to look like it's carved out of wood, even though there's teeth in it. The idea is that it's supposed to be a mask. So another thing to note with the epoxy sculpt, unfortunately I had to kind of quit this a little earlier than I wanted to last night, and the epoxy sculpt sagged here because I guess the sort of weight to cure ratio was such that this eyebrow ridge was heavy enough that it kind of slumped before it was all the way cured, even though it seemed like pretty much cured, and I was able to do all this detail work in it. It was still it's still sagged a bit, so I'm going to have a lot of dremeling to do to fix that. And I'm going to probably have to do some more dremeling around here anyways to better the visibility of the mask for the person wearing it. All this detail that you see in here is just temporary. You basically, when you do this technique, you need to get your Dremel going, and you can't just start your Dremel sort of on a bare flat surface. You need a groove to kind of get it started with, or your Dremel will just kind of skip all over the surface. So you gotta get it started in the sculpting phase, and then you make it look nice in the Dremel phase. Again, this technique I learned from Bruce D. Mitchell, and I think he developed it as far as I know, of doing these sort of one-time epoxy masks. This is the third one I've done. The other two you'll see videos of on my channel, and I really do like this technique. The latex mask technique is great because you can make many of them, and you can make, you can sort of take more time with the sculpting, but this is just a fun technique for making one-offs, and you can get a nice rigid kind of classical looking mask that I enjoy this process quite a bit. So I'll show you other stages of this as I continue, and until I do that, happy hunting.